Alright, here's what's going on. Our car has a dead battery. So I'm going to get my bike, go get a new battery. The battery's not completely dead, but it keeps drawing down and it's having trouble starting, and Sarah has to be in 3 different locations in the county today. So we're going to replace her battery so that her car will start every time. You know, based on some of the comments I get on my videos, I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the utility value of this bike, or of a bike, and how it can be used to transport. Hey, let's take a look at this bike and see what it can do, what it's all about. If you look back here at the back, you can see it looks much like a regular bike. As you move along, you see the frame is bigger, and then when you come up here, you can see a lot of difference. And basically what is going on is the front end is extended for the sole purpose of putting the weight in between the 2 axles. What happens is, if you have cargo or weight position, you know, forward of this axle, or the same with the rear, behind the rear axle, you know, if it's a little bit of weight, it's no big deal, but if it's a lot of weight, it definitely changes the way the bike handles. And typically, most people describe that sensation as something they don't want, or you know, it makes the steering more difficult, it makes the balance more difficult. It's like adding a balance problem to riding a bike people aren't used to. People don't you know, want additional balance problems, I guess. So most people describe that sensation as you know, undesirable. If you you know, if you put the weight forward of the front axle, if there's a lot of weight, then the rear end gets light, maybe. Or if you put it way back, the front end will get light. And usually you don't see or feel any of these sensations until you're, you know, going a little bit faster, maybe going downhill and trying to make a turn, you know, and then it gets uncomfortable. So the purpose of this frame design is, you know, just basically to get the cargo out away from where you are when you're riding, and keep it within the in between the 2 axles, and then it's more stable. This bike right here is capable of carrying basically as much weight as you want to put on it and ride. On this bike I've had you know, my wife and I think both the girls, when they were younger, my wife would sit back here, and then the next larger girl and the smaller one. You know, it was easy to get them to a restaurant downtown or something like that, not too far. But you know, I've also carried who knows how much weight in sandbags on this bike. There was an event at a school, and we were moving sandbags, and I packed, you know, all of the sandbags I had onto this frame and rode it down to where they were supposed to go. It's real handy because we couldn't get a car in there, and we didn't have the manpower to move all the sand as far as it was going. But if you take a look at right here, the steering link, this is what allows the front end to get extended out, and you still have the same input. When you turn the bars, the steerer travels all the way through that tube, comes out here, transmits the steering influence to the front fork. And key thing is, you know, when I built this bike, I'd never ridden one of these bikes before, so while I was making it, I was trying to think about, you know, what it was going to do, how it was going to work. And so I ended up sitting here while I was making it, thinking a lot about the steering and how it was going to feel and what I was going to have to do to ride it. And when I first wrote it, I had all those thoughts in my mind, and that's really not what you want to do. You just want to get on this bike and ride it like any other bike. Don't think about the bike. Don't think too much about what you're doing. Just get on, look ahead, a reasonable distance up ahead on the road, and start pedaling. And it's really easy. There's no real challenge to it. The only challenge comes when when you have a lot of weight on there and you're trying to control that. If the weight you put on the bike is heavier than you are, you're probably going to have to pay a lot of attention to it. So you're looking at the rack here. There's a lot of stuff on here, but you can see right here these bolts. There's 4 of them, 2 on the other side, and you can see where it's blue and black. This is a removable rack, so it's kind of like a modular system. You can manufacture any rack system to hold a specific piece of gear. I haven't done that yet. All I've done is use this rack. But at least the bike was designed for that. And also some of the differences you'll see on these front cargo bikes are, one of the main differences is where this main tube is placed. So this main tube you can see is supporting the rack here. So all the weight goes onto the rack, onto the main tube. This main tube comes back and becomes part of the frame of the regular bike. The other way to make these bikes is to put this big, weight-bearing cargo tube on this down tube section here and bring it up that way, and then this part of the bike becomes a little more conventional. So your top tube would maybe here, or wherever it may be, depending on the rider. So there's advantages to either way. This one here, I think, as best I could tell, because I gathered all the design information off the internet, originally this is a Danish design, and then I think with the way this main tube is, it was adapted by a British frame builder, which I never got the name of. But I saw the photograph of the bike, and I wanted to make this bike the way he made it, which is basically the way the Danish made it originally, who knows, 100 years ago. And it has the main tube up here. So this bike right now is equipped with a generator hub that goes right to the light here. Makes it really easy to, no matter when you need it, you can always just flick it on. You don't have to worry about batteries being charged. That's a great thing to have. And then I just run the rear light, the battery light, lasts a good long time. And these disc brakes have worked fantastic. As soon as you get heavy weight on the bike, and if it's a lot of weight and you're going downhill, you're going to need more than just regular powered brakes. So these definitely have more power and can do fine stopping a lot of weight. Good, how you doing?
Good.
Is that parts?
Parts department, yes.
Yeah.
Great job.
So what I did here was went and bought the battery and strapped it on right here. Now I'm going up this hill. Thinking about walking it. Well, it turned out that Sarah didn't want me following her all across the county trying to exchange batteries, so she told me to wait until she got home tonight to change it out. So that's what I'm doing.